Hello, I just wanted to pop on here and just have a quick chat about digestion and help you understand that any break or any defect in any step of digestion is going to result in dysfunction. So, what does that mean? Our bodies need certain things to work and to work at the right time, at the right level, in the right strength and dose in order to effectively digest the foods we eat. So I think that's why so many people take PPIs or proton pump inhibitors because we are missing some pieces in here and understanding how we can help ourselves in digestion. So if you do not have enough stomach acid, you are going to have issues digesting foods, especially proteins. Proteins are broken down in your stomach. Well, first you chew them, but then they're broken down in your stomach by the stomach acid, and they are made into more of a liquid form. If you have chewed well, then those proteins can be broken down appropriately and then pass through to your small intestines where they can get absorbed because those amino acids are going to be broken down. The full proteins are going to be broken down into amino acids that can then be transported into your blood and then utilized throughout your whole body and do all the jobs that they do. So without that piece, guess what? You are not going to have the protein broken down correctly. And then you can have protein fermentation in your colon, which creates all kinds of inflammation and imbalances in your gut. So just making sure that you do a few things for yourself will help. So number one, chew your food really well and making sure that you eat slowly and chew every bite. Don't chew 2 or 3 times and swallow. I know living in America, we go, and it's easy just to chew 2 or 3 times and swallow. So be present, be aware, and slow down, and make sure that you're chewing your food well. And then making sure that you're not staying on those acid-suppressing medications longer than you absolutely have to. They were never intended to be lifelong, yet we have many people on them for decades. So I think evaluate that. Find ways that you can try to get off. And again, I will be honest, there are some people that may need them. So talk to your doctor about that and have an honest conversation. Is this something that I could get off of? Could I attempt to get off of? I'm not going to say they're easy to get off of because sometimes it is complicated. So making sure that you are asking your physician or the prescribing doctor to get off of those first, but making sure that you're not staying on those long term if they're not necessary. If they are, then you just take them as prescribed. But I find that many bariatric patients are on these and they got put on them right after surgery, which is fine, but then they never got taken off, or they weren't instructed really how to get off of them, and so now they're just on them, and they forget to take it or they don't take it, and then it comes right back. That's exactly how it's going to happen. You're going to have rebound reflux when you abruptly stop taking any PPIs. So making sure you work with someone to wean off of them appropriately and add in certain support strategies, could be supplements, could be additional medications. The key is that you wean off so that you can tolerate and manage being off of them permanently. So that is another, so that's 2. A number 3 thing to consider when it comes to a break in digestive function that's going to impact it. Well, let me back up. So let me explore the PPI thing a little bit further. So there is some association with PPIs and infections. C. diff infections and bacterial overgrowth infections. And I'll do some other videos on the studies that kind of show that content and that information so that you can understand that a little more closely. I can talk about the studies. Because it is a common thing to have both of those. I would say more bacterial overgrowth and C. diff for sure, but if you end up on rounds of antibiotics for various other conditions, which happens, you could be setting yourself up for C. diff if you remain on PPIs. So again, I think that's where you have to kind of explore what is driving this digestive dysfunction and when did it begin? You know, kind of timeline it. Did you go on a bunch of antibiotics? Were you having some issues with ulcers and so you had to go on a PPI? When did all of these begin? And that's where you really have to think about all avenues and all drivers that are contributing to this. Okay, so number 3, think of when it comes to a break in digestive function, if you have a dysfunction in your digestion, you have to think about maldigestion. So if you are not capable, if your body is not capable of digesting the food you consume, you would experience, for some people, pretty significant symptoms. I notice with bariatric patients, they feel like food sits like a brick. So you eat a few bites and you feel like it's heavy, like it's not moving, and some feel like they might need to vomit. Some people, they're miserable. They don't want to eat anymore. So again, those are signs of maldigestion that, one, you may not have everything needed to digest the food that you are consuming. You will especially see with protein sources, so heavy meats. All meats are heavy, so chicken, beef, pork, even some seafood that's a thicker texture, and like a tuna steak, more of the light flaky fish, or if you had a tuna salad, that would not react the same because it's going to be creamy and have the mayonnaise and things like that, so you would digest that easier. Anytime you add condiments, cream soups, marinades, those types of things to the meat, you're going to digest it better. So that's where, sometimes just changing that is all you need. You don't need to add anything else. You just need to support the moisture piece a little bit better, and your body will be capable of digesting in a more comfortable way. So, considering that maldigestion piece, and that encompasses not only stomach acid, but you're talking about bile, and bile is either released from your gallbladder if you still have that. If not, it's released from your liver, and this is what emulsifies or breaks apart all the fat molecules so that your body can utilize it and put it into our bloodstream and utilize it throughout all our cells. So once all of that gets broken down, then it gets passed out through the body so that we can utilize those fat molecules. So super important, and if you're missing that piece where you're breaking the fats down appropriately, or you're having some issues with just bile flow, that will impact it as well. Then you also, so we've got pancreatic enzymes. You got to think about your liver for the bile, or gallbladder, both. Your liver produces it, and then your gallbladder stores it. So if either one of those are, not well. So if you have a fatty liver or if you've had your gallbladder removed, those are all going to impact bile flow. So again, that contributes to digestion dysfunction. So any piece of that that is off is going to cause symptoms for you. Gas, bloating, heaviness with protein foods, just overall issues with constipation or diarrhea or both, or, any digestive issues is going to be recognized when you are not digesting your foods well. So you got stomach acids, protein comes with pepsin, and then you have your ox bile for the fats. The pancreatic enzymes help you digest carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. It kind of helps well round everything. And then your small intestines kind of take over once it gets dumped into your small intestines. And then they add some additional enzymes. And then the bacteria, your gut bacteria, those play a role in continuing that process of digesting the food. And if those gut bacteria are out of balance, something we call dysbiosis, that is when you can also have digestive symptoms. So sometimes your upstream symptoms, your heartburn, the heaviness, are driven by downstream impacts that are forcing things up. So that's where you have to just kind of timeline it all and break it all down so that you're figuring out what's really driving it, and really identifying the root cause of it. And many people will notice that they'll have many breaks in this digestive process, and if they fix even just one of them, they see improvements in the others. So the key is that you find out what's really the root, fix that one, and then you don't have to do anything for the others. They automatically correct themselves because you fixed the main problem. It's kind of like you have a bucket with, 5 really big holes, but then you have like 100 tiny little holes. You could plug up the 5 big holes and you'll stop most of the water from emptying out of your bucket. But what about all those tiny holes that are still losing water? So same thing, you have to think about your digestive tract as one whole system, and you have to find the big holes first. But then don't forget about the tiny holes, and you have to fix them as well. But again, what I see usually is if you pick the root cause first and repair that, you can support the other things so that you feel better. And then as that main cause is corrected, then you can just slowly get rid of those other Band-Aid things that kind of help you feel better in the short term, but aren't necessary long term, because they're only broken because of this one main problem. But it was this cascade or this big snowball that got you to where all these other things were broken. So fixing those and correcting the one main thing is going to fix all the little things as well. So when you think about, digestive dysfunction, any break in that, your stomach acid, being on PPIs, lowering that, and then the bacterial overgrowth or the C. diff that can come from those, and then the maldigestion, not digesting foods because you don't have enough pancreatic enzymes, you don't have enough bile flow, you don't have enough acid, pepsin, all of those things. So again, taking that big picture and just really focusing and working with someone that can help you is probably the key thing that will get you out of discomfort and get you out of these digestive problems that are occurring on a regular basis. I will say I find it interesting, bariatric patients just assume this is normal, and they assume that this is just part of bariatric surgery. You just live with these digestive problems. And I want you to see that you don't have to. You do not have to live with digestive problems after bariatric surgery. There are solutions, and there are ways to correct them, and then there's ways to maintain that. So it's not going to be you take one pill and it fixes everything. That's unlikely. Usually it's a combination strategy that you apply intensely for a short period of time, and then you start weaning off of all these things and get back to your normal life. So again, I think have the awareness, know that, guess what? I can heal from digestive issues after bariatric surgery. I don't have to live with bloating and gas and malodorous gas, the embarrassing, that is so uncomfortable for so many people that they are worried to leave their house, or every decision is made off of where the bathrooms are because they want to be able to use them more privately. So those are all things that you don't have to do the rest of your life. There's no need to have these issues. So click the link in my bio if you want more information. Been doing this for a long time, and I will tell you there are solutions. There is no need for you to suffer, and let's get working on solving your problems. I hope this has helped. You guys have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye.